So I don't know about you, but there are days that I just wake up maybe on the wrong side of the bed, or that things are a little stressful and I get stuck in what we call a thinking trap. And so thinking traps are essentially just extreme ways of thinking that aren't necessarily based in reality. And so that can look like black and white thinking or all or nothing thinking, where we're really struggling to kind of see the gray in the middle. And so it's either a really good day or a really bad day. And so you can have a great day at work and things are going wonderful and you're not really hitting any traffic. You get out early and then, you get home and you start cooking dinner and, you're halfway through and you realize you don't have some of the ingredients, and all of a sudden your mind goes, oh, my whole day is horrible. Other thinking traps might look like shoulds or musts. Things really should be or have to be or ought to be a certain way. And if they're not, then, we kind of throw the baby out with bathwater. There's lots of other sort of thinking traps that we can get stuck in. And so, the question is, what do we do? When you're stuck in that thinking trap and that negative way of thinking, we often get on that like hamster wheel or that record player, and our mind just keeps going and going and going, and it cycles into impacting our mood and our actions, and impacts the people around us, impacts our relationships. And then that in turn often creates another negative thought, and it's just kind of becomes a pattern from there. So how do we break that cycle? A lot of times we want to start with challenging the thought. We want to start in sort of our mind process and say, well, if this isn't really based in reality, this is extreme thoughts, then I can really challenge that. The problem is that when we're having these extreme thoughts and we're in a really negative place, we're not likely in a place where we're going to be able to use our thoughts to really challenge our own thoughts. And so before we can do that, it's really a good idea to start with our mind-body connection. And so I find it really helpful with the teens and the clients that I work with to really look at breaking the cycle by changing our body's chemistry and by reconnecting our mind-body-soul connection. And so one way that we do that is we use mindfulness in DBT. We would refer to it as our observe and describe skills. And we just take a moment to focus on what we're feeling and our physical sensations. And so that we're not denying, we're not invalidating what we're going through, not invalidating the feelings of our experience. We're just taking it out of our head and into our body. And so we're observing, we're becoming the witness of what we're experiencing, and we're observing our physical sensation. And we're bringing our mind and our thoughts to that physical sensation and acknowledging those feelings. And so if we're irritable or we're tense, we might notice clenching, tightness in our jaw. If our thoughts are taking us to a place where we're anxious, you might notice an increased heart rate or kind of like that twist or that gut in your stomach. And those feelings might be different for everybody, but it's just taking that moment to really bring your thoughts to that physical sensation and allowing it to be non-judgmentally, and just kind of breathing through it, feeling your breath, focusing on your breath and breathing through that, and acknowledging that whatever you're feeling, that is okay. And then as you calm down and you realize that you're no longer kind of on that hamster wheel, then your thoughts are in a different place. And then you're in a place when you're no longer cycling, that you can gently challenge whatever your sort of extreme thinking might be. And so that's a good time to maybe start asking yourself some questions to really take a look at what was going on. So you might say something to yourself like, am I making any assumptions? What would a friend tell me right now, or a trusted loved one? Is there a more effective way for me to be looking at this situation? Does my reaction match the situation? Is it too big or is it too small? If you have any further questions or want some more information about thinking traps, let me know. I will put my information in the comments below. So thank you for tuning in, and I hope you have a lovely day. Take care.